And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed. To you it shall be for food. Genesis 1:29. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full. Psalm 78:25. Everyday Manna with Lisa.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Everyday Manna. Today we are going to take a trip to Mexico and make some of my personal favorite dishes. I absolutely love fajitas, but they can be, they don't always have to be, but they can be time intensive, labor intensive, and some days I just want a quick, easy, fast meal to get on the table, and that's what we're going to do today. We are going to make chicken fajitas, and we have a shortcut. And alongside that, we're going to make one of my favorite salsas, which is a black bean salsa. It's so good, served with the fajitas on top of it or on the side with chips or whatever you want to serve it with. It's delicious. And then for our drink today, we are going to make something I bet most of you have never had, and that is Mexican hot chocolate. And it is delicious, and you've seen this product and you didn't know what to do with it, and today we're going to learn. But the first thing we're going to get started on is the fajitas. Now I have a large skillet that I'm going to preheat to like medium-high heat, and I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil, a couple of tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. You can use, in this recipe, you can use canola oil or vegetable oil. Whatever you have in your home is fine. I have an assortment of peppers because I just like the colors, but you can use all green if you want, all red, whatever you want. But you want to have, to serve 4 people in my home, because I really like the peppers, so I get a lot of pepper and a little bit of meat, but you need about 3 peppers, whatever colors your family likes. My favorite is this one right here. I adore red peppers. I saute them, I grill them, I roast them, I eat them all the time. This little pepper right here, by the way, now I'm not a nutritionist, didn't study nutrition in college, but I do read a lot. And this little red pepper has got so much vitamin C and an ingredient in it called lycopene, which is a cancer preventative, so they think. So it's an extremely healthy choice for you. So if you have the choice between a red and a green, go with the red. It's sweeter, and it does have, you know, a little bit more nutrition in it. You want it diced up. I sometimes do it in strips, and sometimes I do it in little pieces, and I'm going to do it in little pieces today. But if you want to just cut it in strips, that's fine. I just kind of like it all to be about the same size. I'm going to add this and let this go ahead and start sauteing in my skillet. My oil's not quite hot enough, but that's okay. It'll warm up there. I'm going to do a yellow pepper because I think it looks pretty to have the different colors in there. Peppers are truly one of nature's superfoods. They're full of vitamins and minerals and things for you, and it's a great snack to have raw. They're delicious cooked. They're absolutely fantastic grilled on the grill. I absolutely love them grilling. Anytime I have my grill on, if there's anything that remotely will go with the pepper, there's a pepper on that grill too, because I dearly love them. They're delicious. They're easy to grow too. We have in our garden, we grow different varieties of peppers. One year I grew a pepper called a chocolate pepper because I love chocolate, and I thought, the chocolate pepper, but it doesn't taste like chocolate. It tastes like a pepper. It tastes like a green pepper actually, but it was pretty. The colors are just beautiful. And you know, something that I really try very hard to do is to have lots of colors, because truthfully, you eat with your eyes first. And if something looks pretty to you, or your children or your family, they're more likely to try it. And you know, as you know, you've seen my little ones on here, and I've got 2 little boys, and I'm working on getting them to eat lots of different vegetables. They're not quite there yet. They're pretty adventurous with some things, but we're working on it. We try all kinds of things. The rule in my house is you have to at least taste it. So they've tasted Brussels sprouts and lima beans, and we did some grilled zucchini the other night. And I reminded my Austin, I said, you know, when you were a little baby, he was like 1 to 2 years old, he loved zucchini. And I would grill them on the grill, and that child would just sit and eat them. Well, you know, now he's almost 10. He doesn't do that anymore. He's like, oh, Mom, I don't like that. I'm like, yeah, try it. Just taste it. So we have a rule that you at least do have to try the different vegetables and fruits. Fruits aren't as big of a deal as vegetables are for some reason, and why is that? If anybody has any insight to that, please let me know why children don't like vegetables. Of course, I didn't as a child either. Now I love them. I eat them all the time. I could easily be a vegetarian. Although I do eat meat and I like meat, I adore vegetables. Now, we're going to saute these. Turned my eye up just a little bit, like medium-high heat. Look how pretty those colors are. Now, I am not one, I do not like to cook them to death. I don't like them to be super mushy and yucky and the colors faded away. I like them to retain a little bit of their crispness. To the peppers, I'm going to add 1 onion, and this one's huge. This is actually a Vidalia onion because my store has them right now, and I love them. But if it's not seasoned for them, you can use any onion. Whatever you have is fine. But I do like the Vidalias. I guess that's how you say it. I'll probably get somebody telling me that's not how you say it. That's how I say it. They're delicious. They're sweet and good. Just cut them. These I'm going to cut into little thin strips. Onions, again, are one of the nature's superfoods. Lots of different properties in them and chemicals in them that really do wonders in the body. Hasn't God created us just this awesome spectrum of food that we need to run our bodies efficiently if we just simply will eat them? And I love sauteed onions. I don't know about you, but I love them. Add your onion, kind of break it up into little pieces. You know, it's home cooking. It doesn't have to be perfect, just as long as it's in there. Little strips. That one I'll cut a little more. We're going to saute our peppers and onions. Now, we're doing chicken fajitas today. You can do fajitas with chicken. You can do them with beef. You can do them with shrimp. You can do them with all kinds of different meat products. But today, we're going to do chicken. I even have had, oftentimes, just vegetable fajitas. Just sauteed vegetables in the tortilla. Oops, one of my onions got away. To that, I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Oh, probably a good teaspoon or so for my taste. I use kosher salt for cooking. If you're using regular iodized salt that you pour out of a shaker, you need half as much because it is saltier. And some freshly ground pepper, which I love, use a lot of. I collect pepper mills. My little Austin loves to go in a store, and he's my cooker boy. He likes to shop with Mommy for cooking things, and he'll go to the pepper mills and he'll pull them out, and he's like, oh, Mom, this one's neat. I have one at home that I've had for years. I've had it for probably 20 years, and it's actually an old Turkish coffee mill, but it's used as a pepper mill, and it's so pretty. It's brass. I love it. I need to bring my collection and show you one day. I love pepper mills. So there we go. We're going to kind of let those hang out. Now, jalapeno pepper. Now, I happen to have a little bit of a sensitivity with my hands to hot peppers. So I'm going to put on gloves. If it doesn't bother you or you don't have any gloves, just make sure when you're working with fresh peppers that you wash your hands immediately, because if you don't and you touch your eye, I promise you, you will feel it. Doesn't bother me to eat them, but it does bother my hands, so I'm going to wear gloves. Now, I'm cutting it in half. With peppers, the thing in peppers that makes peppers so hot is a product called capsaicin. And there's a big scale, the Schofield scale. I won't go into all that. Jalapenos actually rate pretty low on that scale compared to like a habanero or a Scotch bonnet or something like that. But they're still pretty potent. And the heat lies in this little white membrane right here and the seeds. So if you don't want all of that heat, take that out and just have the little rib of the pepper and it won't be as hot. Now there is still some heat in the green part, but just not quite as much. And then we're gonna mince it kind of fine, because trust me, you don't want to bite into a whole hot jalapeno pepper. Some people it doesn't bother, but some people it does. So you do want to kind of mince those a little fine. I'm going to turn those down just a dot. And I actually need one of these for my salsa that we're going to make. So while I've got my gloves on, we're going to go ahead and mince that other one up. While I mince the other one up, I'm just going to add this to my skillet. I'm going to take a quick break. Over the break, all I'm going to do is mince up one more jalapeno. And when I come back, we're going to get the chicken in these fajitas. I'll be right back with you in just a minute. Daniel chapter 9, verse 14 says, "The Lord our God is right in everything that he does." You know, God has never been wrong. He's never had a wrong attitude. He's never made a wrong decision. He's never done the wrong thing. He's never gone down the wrong path. So what example do we need to follow in life? We need to follow God. You know, the Bible tells us that he will be the lamp unto our feet and the light unto our path. When we know that we're following something who is flawless, someone who is perfect, that is who we need to follow, and we need to use that as our example. Let's follow in God's example, and let's let him lead us and guide us and direct us, because you know he is perfect. He has never made a mistake. Welcome back. Now, we've got our vegetables going. We're going to add the zest of a lime. These limes are little. The ones at the store yesterday when I was shopping were just little limes. That's okay, though. I like lime. And lime is very, very common in Mexican cooking. Very common. If you don't have a lime, don't worry about it. You don't absolutely have to have it. It does taste very good in the recipe. It smells fantastic. I love lime. Key lime pie. I met one of our viewers at the store one day, not long ago, and she said, "Can you do a key lime pie?" And I haven't forgotten. I'm going to work on it. I do want it home, but it's a cheesecake, and it takes a long time to make. So we'll work on the key lime pie. Now, juice it also. Limes don't have quite as much juice as lemons. You want about a tablespoon or so, which is about one lime. That's fine. I think fresh citrus of any kind really just brightens your food, makes it delicious. I have a couple of teaspoons of just cumin, ground cumin, and a couple of teaspoons of chili powder, just regular old chili powder that we all have and use. Stir that in there. I don't know if you know this, but your spices, like I used, your dried spices, when you add them to your dish in oil, like I've got here just a little bit of oil, it causes the spices to what they call bloom, and your flavor will be much more intense. Whereas if you wait till the final dish to add them, if you add them at a point where they can kind of cook in some oil, the spices just come alive and they're so much better. Here's our shortcut. You know, after you've worked all day long and you're tired but you need to get dinner in a hurry, one of my favorite things is a rotisserie chicken that you can buy in any store out there now has them. I bought this one, it's, you know, and I just, usually when I buy them, I buy a couple of them, or if I roast chicken at home, I roast a couple of chickens at a time, because the meat is so versatile in so many different dishes. Now, all I did was cut off the leg and the thigh. I don't really want to use the wing, so I'm not going to keep those, but I am going to use this wonderful breast meat. You want a couple of cups, which is about one rotisserie chicken. And honestly, I find oftentimes they run them on sale and you can't buy a whole chicken and cook it at home yourself for less money than you can buy one in the store already done for you. And they are absolutely delicious. They truly are. Now, get the meat off there. You want a couple of cups of meat, which in this case I'm using the breast. If you want to use the leg meat, the dark meat, you can. Whatever you like. You can use a combination if you want. It's already cooked, so the cooking times won't matter. Whereas if you were starting with raw chicken, you know, you would need to cook the dark meat faster or longer because it cooks slower. The white meat cooks faster, and I do not understand that. To me, it makes no sense because typically a breast is a whole lot thicker, but it does. The dark meat cooks a lot quicker. All you're wanting to do is just get that meat off there, and then we'll cut it up. And that's probably about 2 cups of meat. It's not a pretty job, but let me tell you, it's delicious. So here's our meat. I'm just going to cut it up into bite-sized pieces. This is cold, so I'm going to go ahead and add it as I chop it to the mixture so it can be getting warmed. And really, your filling is done at this point. All you're doing is warming the chicken through because it's already cooked. Now, if you don't have a rotisserie chicken and you've got raw chicken breasts, what you want to do is roast them in like a 400-degree oven for, say, 20 minutes or 350, 25 to 30 minutes. If you have just raw chicken that you want to use in this dish, or if you have leftover chicken, it's perfect for something like that. And you can morph your leftover chicken into a completely another dish the next day, which I do quite frequently. I roast chicken a lot at my house because we really do like roasted chicken. My children love it, and so I do roast a lot of chicken at home. And sometimes we'll have some left over, and the next day we either make soup or fajitas or something else. Let's turn that down just a little bit. And there you go. There's your filling done. I am going to add just a little more oil to that because it's a little dry. Not much, maybe another tablespoon. Turn it down to low and just kind of let that chicken heat through. And that's all you're doing. The chicken is done. Oops. Doesn't that look good? I wish you could smell it. It smells fantastic. Now, let's make our salsa, which is a black bean salsa. But before I do that, let me do one more thing real quick. We're going to make some Mexican hot chocolate. So, in my pan, I've got just a small little pot here. I'm going to add 4 cups of milk. And all I'm doing is heating this milk. So we're just going to let that be warming while we make our salsa. 4 cups of milk. We're just going to kind of let that come to a slight simmer while we make our salsa. So that's on the back burner. Our fajitas are done, other than just warming through. Now, let's make our salsa. Really easy and really good. Have a bowl, big bowl. 1 can of drained corn, canned corn. You can use fresh. If you've got roasted corn, it's fabulous. If you want to use fresh corn, just cook the corn on the cob and then cut it off the cob, about probably 2 ears of corn. Or you can just use canned corn or frozen corn, about a cup, cup and a half. Completely optional, the amount. 1 can of black beans that I have drained. Could it be easier? The jalapeno that I minced earlier over the break. Just 1 fresh jalapeno, half if you don't want it quite so hot. The zest and the juice of a lime. Another lime. Easy, easy, easy. So good. This lime is tough little thing. The zest actually has as much or more flavor than the actual lime itself does. So don't just throw away that zest. Use that zest. It adds so much flavor to your salsas and whatever you're cooking. I love a little bit of citrus in most everything. This particular lime, it's not very juicy, so I may use 2 limes on this one. You want about a tablespoon of juice. And he's just not giving it up for me. Okay. Over the break, we're going to take a quick break. Over the break, I'm just going to juice this one other lime. When I come back, we're going to wrap this up, make the chocolate, and I'll show you how to put those fajitas together. Be right back with you in just a minute. Now over the break, all I did was juice that other lime. We're going to add a couple more ingredients. I have about half a cup of just jarred roasted red peppers. If you have fresh red peppers roasted, use those. Chop them up kind of fine. These particular ones came in strips. Great product to have in your pantry. I keep them at home all the time in my pantry because I use them in so many different things. If you've never tasted a roasted red pepper, you are in for a treat. They are fantastic. Okay, to that, I'm gonna add a couple of tablespoons, just olive oil. You can use canola oil or vegetable oil, and about a teaspoon of cumin. Kind of tie the flavors together. A little bit of salt. You don't need too much because the corn and the beans have got a lot of salt in them. A little bit of pepper. And that's it. And you've got a fresh salsa. If you wanted to add a little bit of onion, a little red onion or a little green scallion onion to it, you could do that. I find not everybody, myself included, likes raw onion. So I really don't use a lot of raw onion, but if you do like it, by all means, have at it and add yourself some onion to it. Now, this I would serve alongside just regular little corn tortilla chips. I love these little scoopy ones that you can buy that are just little chips that are scoopable, as they call them. Let's put a little bit of this on our plate and put some of our chips around it. Look how pretty and colorful and delicious, and what a good snack. This just gets better and better and better and better, so you can make a big batch of it, leave it in your refrigerator. The longer it sits, the more those flavors marry and the better it tastes. So make a big batch. Oh, I can't wait to eat that. All right, now let's get to our chocolate. Now I cut on that board, so let me get another little board to go over this. Let me just move this one out of the way here. Hold on with me just a second. Now, my milk is hot. The fajitas are done. We're gonna add, I know you've seen this in the stores and don't have a clue what to do. Now, I don't normally show you brands and so forth, but this is an odd product that maybe you have never used. You find it in the section where you have the Mexican foods, whatever the international section of your grocery store. I find it everywhere. It is not a difficult product to find. It's a Mexican chocolate. Let me show you what it looks like. Where you get the taco shells and all of that kind of stuff is where you're going to find it. It comes in little discs like this. And what you need to do is just chop this up. It's got a little bit, it's harder than regular chocolate. It's got a little bit of cinnamon and sugar and different kinds of things in it. This is not baking chocolate. But if you, for whatever reason, cannot find this product, I'm going to use one disc. You could use, say, 3 ounces of a dark chocolate and add some cinnamon to it, because this very much has a cinnamony vanilla flavoring. Chop it up, add it to your milk. We're gonna melt it in our milk. If you like it really chocolatey, add more. If you don't like it quite as chocolatey, don't add as much. I like chocolate. It is a harder chocolate to cut up than regular chocolate, so you need a good knife. Chop it up, add it to your hot mixture. It's delicious. And the reason it's Mexican is the product is Mexican, but Mexican chocolate oftentimes has cinnamon in it. And spices, actually. I had some Mexican chocolate one time that had chilies in it. Chili powdery, not chili powder like you put in chili powder like pure ground chilies. And oh my gosh, was it ever good. Smells fantastic. I'm gonna start out with one disc and I'm gonna see how that goes. You see how it just kind of starts, and it'll melt into your chocolate. The little flecks that you see in there is the cinnamon, so that's not gonna go away. It's just gonna melt in there, and I like a little bit of extra vanilla in mine. So I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Let that go for just a minute more to melt in there. If you want it more chocolatey, add another half a disc or something. In the meantime, let's get our fajita ready. I'm just using, I like the whole wheat. You get whatever kind you like. Regular tortilla, flour tortillas. Add your mixture to your tortilla. So good. Now, I'm kind of a purist. I don't really like much else added, maybe a little bit of salsa, a little bit of lettuce, but you could add guacamole, you could add sour cream, could add whatever you like on yours. I really just kind of like mine like that. And then